I want to cover the ideology of parenting first. Second, some theoretical aspects of parenting, especially from the angle of the impact parenting has on your attachment styles and the person you become. I'm saying impact means I'm not saying it is the only factor. Parenting is the only factor. And the third point is some practical tips means if you are a couple and you have children, how at your home you can have a parenting style which is nurturing in nature and which is beneficial for any type of child. So these are the three aspects. Uh, and I'm going to use references from the variety of the domains, including the Indian Vedic wisdom. And I'm not going to highlight from where this particular point has come, but consider that it is a synthesis of a variety of the disciplines and not only the discipline of psychology per se. Number one, as a parent, we do not own our children, which we think that we own. Our children happen to be born in our family, not controlled by us, not planned by us. It's a natural process. See, to buy something, you have to complete a transaction, which is a conscious transaction, right? You will make some agreement and you will, in return, give something, and then you own that particular thing. So there is no ownership transaction in parenting. So this is first the idea. Why I'm saying this? Because if you understand this, everything will become easy. When a child is born, there are many theories. Means there is a theory of John Locke and there is a theory of Aristotle who talk about the children coming to this particular world as a blank slate and all that, and they have some merit but definitely not 100% merit because there is a karma and means there are some inborn competencies, right? So now I go to the multiple intelligence point. So every child is born with some strengths and some kind of intelligence. This is fact. No child is born without any intelligence, right? Every child is born with some intelligence. Our duty as a parent, of course, means whether it is a voluntary responsibility without contract, once that thing happen, we have to take responsibility. So when we take that particular responsibility, our first focus is has to be to understand what is the talent this particular child has born with, and there are variety of the methods which we will discuss in due course of time during this program as well as few of them today. So there is a very specific role the parent has. The parent role is not to control the child. So this is the first the thing is right. Now the parenting style has a direct impact on the attachment style. So because of your parenting, there is some kind of attachment style a person adopts, a person uh, gets trained into, right? And because of that attachment style, your marital life is also impacted because you carry that attachment style as your attachment style of love. Your attachment style and your attachment style of love are not different, they are one and the same. So it's a continuous circle, right? So you have the parents, and of course means depending upon your multiple intelligence, depending upon your sanchit, depending upon your karma, depending on the nature plus nurture combination, not only nature, not only nurture, depending upon that particular combination, you have this particular attachment style. Because of that attachment style, you develop a persona, you develop a relationship style And because of that particular relationship style, your entire life gets impacted and your happiness gets impacted, because today we are going to cover the couples and the relationships as well. So what is this particular relation, right? So first I will start with the parenting. So means I have some different names, but they are very similar to this. So the first type of parenting, which is a majority part, means if you see, means if you take a survey, you will find that more than 60% of the parents belong from this particular category, called as authoritative parent. Authoritative parent controls the children, of course, for their good. Nobody controls the children with some devious thoughts in mind. They focus on rules, they focus on obedience, they focus on telling children what is right, what is wrong, and what they have to do. So this is called as authoritarian. So the entire psyche of the parenthood is coming from the mindset of authority. I know you don't know. I am okay, you are not okay. And because of that, I am telling you. So this is what 60% of the plus parents are there who means the terminology, of course, forget about the terminology. You can say them anything, good parent, bad parent, and all that. But this terminology, what is there in the psychology books, is called as authoritarian parent. There is another parent which the books are calling as authoritative, but I would like to call this as a collaborative. So this word you will never find in any literature or a psychology books, but I believe that the right word is a collaborative parent. What collaborative parents does is what I'm going to tell you in my practical tips of parenting. So this is a collaborative. So I am means having some suspense wherein I am going to explain what exactly this collaborative parenting is. The third is like Maya has already stated, the permissive, laissez-faire, distant, not that interested, child is child. So this is the third type. And the fourth type is dismissive, means actually having some kind of critical or the negative behavior, right? But of course, right now we are focusing on what has to be the so-called right parenting style, with the ideology that we are not the owners and we are not the controllers and we do not have any authority over our children's life, right? It's a voluntary process, right? So means, for example, if you work for NGO, definitely you are going to work differently. If you are a social worker, you are going to work with a different mindset, na? But if you are working in a private limited company, you will work in a different mindset. So what is your mindset of a parent? The mindset of a parent, if you think that you own your child, will be different than the mindset of the parent who believes that he doesn't own the child. The mindset will be different. So the first with the mindset, then with a collaborative parenting style. Now, once you are a collaborative parent, do you know what happens? First, I will go for that, and then I will go for the tips for the collaborative parenting. Once you are a collaborative parent, 99.99%, the marital life of your child will be successful and happy. Direct relation, direct correlation between a collaborative parenting and happy married life for your child. Because the child, because in a marital relationship, what is the crux? The crux is collaboration. It is two different individuals coming together. Unless they collaborate, there is no question of relationship, right? So this collaborative spirit, if you build during the parenting, I am telling you, means barring some extraordinary rare cases, 99.99% time, you will see that your child, when grown up, will have a happy married life. In a couple, there are four types of attachment styles. The first is secure. So as a parent, our goal is to create an environment, understand the words, right? To create an environment wherein the child develops a secure attachment style. So good, good. So Maya, please keep this particular slide. So now this is an attachment style of couple, but is it starting at a couple level? No, it is starting at a child level. So when you create an environment, now how to create that particular environment, I'm going to come to that. Why? Because otherwise it will all become theory and do you know half knowledge is very dangerous. Huh? It is better to have no knowledge, right? Fantastic, you will be happy, right? You will live a serene life क्योंकि आपको कुछ मालूम ही नहीं है. लेकिन अगर आपके पास half knowledge है, then you are in danger, right? So I am going to basically close the circle with some practical tips of how you become a collaborative parent, and collaborative parent is equal to the secure attachment style when at a couple stage, right? So this is a correlation. So the secure style feels safe. Number one, the person feels safe. The person is not threatened by the presence of the other person. And that person offers freedom to the partner. Very important in marital life. A secure attachment style person only offers freedom to the partner. None of the other attachment styles offer real freedom to the partner. Secure attachment style relationship is depend on the tolerance and emotional closeness. Now, from where it has come? It has all come from the mental wiring you had as a child. So how to develop that? I'm coming to it. The balanced style we are not interested, right? All these, there's anxious, there are three patterns of the anxious styles: preoccupied and the fearful and the dismissing. Honestly, I'm not interested in it because I hope that none of you want to have create an environment to build that particular style in your life as a parent. And of course, no one from this particular batch would like to have other three styles in your relationship, right? So what are the tips to develop a right and implementable parenting style? Because why the implementable is very important, right? Because if I tell you some kind of theorems and the theories and all that, you all will like it. Means you will say, oh my God, the session was fantastic. Today we got knowledge. But if you are not in a position to implement that knowledge, means this is just a intellectual discussion, right? So what are the tips? Number one means consider that you have just married, and now of course you are, sorry, of course is a wrong word. So now you want to basically think about the children. The first step, the first step, the first step is you discuss and have a dialogue between two of you within a couple. What was your parenting? Do you know why I'm saying this? Because that particular parenting has an impact on your parenting, not consciously, subconsciously. Consciously you are very clear, मेरे पेरेंट ने ये गलत किया, मेरे पेरेंट ने अच्छा किया. कॉन्शियसली आप एकदम सब कुछ जानते हो, unconsciously आप नहीं जानते हो. So there is an unconscious impact of your parenting style. So both of you, number one step should first discuss, that is okay, what was your parenting style, how was your upbringing, right? What are the good point, what were the good points in your parenting and what points you did not like. So first you understand each other at a psychological level and even at a unconscious level if possible. Of course it requires some training, but I understand that. I'm talking about this batch. I mean, I'm definitely not talking about the masses who do not have any idea about this, but I'm talking about this particular batch and of course your children. So once you understand that, and once you understand that this is the secure attachment style what you want to nurture and create an environment for your child, then you basically discuss on what has to be our parenting style. Why I'm saying that? Because your parenting style can be a combination. It need not be only into one particular quadrant. On few areas, you might want to be laissez-faire. Possible, right? So you first discuss, agree as a couple, because you agreement as a couple is vital, right? Otherwise, child gets a confusing signal from the father and the mother, and then child will manipulate you, right? So to avoid that, first you agree as a couple that is okay, this will be our parenting style, and these are the main areas. Academics is one area, extracurricular activities is one area, socializing in another area, blah blah blah. In this particular thing, this is our agreement of the style, number one. Now what you do as a collaborative parent, you have a, rules is a wrong word, so I'm using a different word. I'm using a word of agreement. So you have an agreement between the couple that, and of course you have to write it down, because of again the psychology that anything written document has little bit more weightage and the clarity. So I'm saying that you have to write down the agreement that this is our parenting style agreement. Now this is the agreement level 1. Agreement level 2, you will do with your children at an appropriate age point what Maya is going to cover. Erik Erikson's 8 stages. At that particular stage, you can have that type of agreement. You cannot have the entire agreement because the child is developing, right? So at a adolescent, there can be agreement related to that phase. At a preschool level, there is an agreement of that phase, and all that. So then you start having the culture of having an agreement with the children, that is okay. Now on this particular matter, these are our thoughts. What are your thoughts? And you collaborate with them to devise a agreement level 2 between parents and children. It is not theoretical, it is absolutely possible. People are doing it, and I personally know them who are doing this kind of parenting, wherein they do not have the rules, but they have a collaborative agreement wherein there is an alignment of the children. Means, of course, means I'm not talking about infants and the toddlers here. I'm talking about the children and adolescent where there is agreement. So the step number two has 2 agreements. So one agreement between the couple and one agreement between the couple and the children. And always remember, and this is what was my answer to the coaching process related questions. Process is second. The first is the intention and the purpose and the ideology behind the process. Why in coaching first is connection? Why in coaching second is contracting? Why in coaching the third is discovery? Why in coaching fourth is action? And why in coaching the fifth is progress? If you understand that, then your questions will get automatically answered. You will not have many questions, right? So like that, when you have the agreement with the children, also agree and also create clarity on what is the intention and purpose behind this agreement in the first place. Why? Because when the intention and the purpose is clear and there are some tricky cases, tricky situations, the child and the parent can go back to the intention and the purpose to solve the tricky situation agreement. Because in a, you are going to have 1-page agreement, you are not going to have a book of the agreements, right? So you are not in a position to cover all the situations, and there will be some different situations coming wherein the agreement will not cover those points, but the intention and the purpose is clear. Because of that, you will be in a position to handle multiple situations in that particular broader premises. The fourth point is, do not disagree in front of the kids. And mark my statement, kids are more intelligent than you, full stop. Full stop. So do not disagree, because if you disagree, they will understand, okay, this is the weakness, this is the issue. And at an appropriate age, they will manipulate that. Again, I'm not saying this from a negative connotation, that is okay, they want to manipulate you or something, but it is natural. It is natural for the children to expect what they want, right? Means because we are all biological human beings and we are all say controlled by the chemicals in our brain and all that. most of our actions are the pleasure seeking and all that. So definitely with that particular intention and with that particular the structure of the human brain, they will manipulate you if you disagree in front of them. Also, you need to nurture them for flexibility. Fantastic, all agreements and all that, okay. But are you flexible? Means, for example, in some particular situation, the agreement will be broken, and of course, it will be broken. There will not be any family where उन्होंने agreement किया और 100% of the time सबने वो agreement follow किया. ये अर्थ के ऊपर possible नहीं है. अगर heaven है तो शायद उसमें possible होगा. अर्थ के ऊपर तो possible नहीं है. Now, do you know when a rule is broken, when the agreement is broken, what has to be your psychology? Your psychology is to find opportunity to give a different lesson, not to harp on that breakage of the agreement. Now, since the rule has been broken, but I don't want to use the word rule because the rule goes into that particular quadrant of authoritarian parenting, and we are talking about a collaborative parenting. So the agreement is a right word, and we are all coaches. We agree with the coachee in the form of agreement. So when a coach becomes a parent, right? So the always the coach will go for the agreement process. Now you show, okay, fine, the agreement has been broken. At the same time, I understand your situation. It's a very special situation. You show the empathy. Now, opportunity, understand. In all adversities, you have to find opportunity, full stop. In all adversities, you have to find opportunity. Presupposition in life. It is not there in NLP. I'm giving you this particular presupposition. It will immensely help you if you implement that. Since that agreement is broken, now you show empathy, now you show flexibility without deviating from the intention and the purpose of the agreement, and say that, okay, for this particular time, right, with your great understanding, I understand you are very specific. They may not be very specific, but you are telling them, right? क्योंकि कैसा है मतलब क्या वो don't show that you are very smart. A smart person never shows that he is very smart, right? तो वो अपने को फंसने का है, वो जानबूझ के फंसने का है. वो चाइल्ड को भी लगना चाहिए हाँ चलो चलो मतलब मैंने हाँ, but what is your intention? Your intention is not that the child has to think you fool, but your intention is that the way I am behaving now, the child will take inputs. That is in life. It is not about only about the agreement and the rules and the perfect behavior, but it is about understanding, the compassion, the empathy, right, and the flexibility. So you basically show that, and then you say that is now if the second time it happens, now we have to follow the agreement. Now he is very clear that yes, empathy, tick mark, flexibility, tick mark, compassion, tick mark, flexibility from the parent, tick mark. And if the second time, now I have to follow. So now you are not undermining the agreement, but you are finding the opportunity. And as I told you, keep looking for the natural. Your child has one of the natural intelligence, full stop. It has, right? So that particular natural intelligence, and do you know what is the parent's role, the real role? And we are going to come up with a program which is going to have this particular clarity. The parent's real role is to create an environment wherein the natural intelligence and the strength of the children flourishes. That's it. That is the role of the parent. बाकी कुछ नहीं है. हम कुछ भी नहीं है, right? मतलब हम ना ओनर है, ना कंट्रोलर है, ना उनके डेस्टिनी मेकर है, हम कुछ नहीं है, right? Maybe we are the shapers, but that shapers also in a very limited sense, because the parenting is not the only aspect. There are a variety of the aspect. लेकिन we are the part. मतलब एक ऐसी एक मूर्ति है, वो मूर्ति किसी एक इंसान ने नहीं बनाई है. So many people have played role. You are one of them. Full stop. As far as the child is, but are you one of them? Absolutely yes, right? But are you only? No, absolutely no. So this is the ideology. So from that particular ideology, you basically create an environment. Means अगर आपको लगता है कि वो खेलकूद में अच्छा है, nurture that. Do you know? मतलब means uh, uh, I will use little bit harsh words here. If you don't do it, you are very unjust to the life of the child. आप पाप कर रहे हो अगर आपने उसको उस डायरेक्शन में नर्चर नहीं किया ना. मतलब यू आर द मीन्स यू आर सिंफुल. दिस इज द सिंफुल एक्टिविटी. उसका सोल जो है वो एक पर्पस के साथ आया है, एक टैलेंट के साथ आया है, एंड आपने उस टैलेंट को दबाए. राइट. सो दिस इज द sin. सो हैव दैट पर्टिकुलर mentality. And the last point of this particular parenting tips is always remember that 80% of the learning the children will have from the parents is only through observation, not through what you talk to them. Language is overemphasized. Communication is overemphasized, and the body language is underemphasized in our society. They learn by observation, right? So you always remember that child is 24/7 observing you, right? So the real lessons you can't give by giving a lecture to your children. The real lesson you can only give by being an example and thinking that if, means for example, if the child is not in this particular room, child is in some other room, but child is getting vibe that what exactly you are doing. If you have that perception, if you have that presupposition that my child is observing me and I should not do anything which is contrary to the agreement or the contrary to the ideology of creating an environment wherein my child can flourish, and talk less and ask more questions. Don't be the teacher to the child. Do you know why? Because you are not qualified. If you would have been qualified, you can become. You are not qualified to become a teacher to your child. The child is more intelligent than you, and child has come up with some different soul and the different potential and different strengths which are beyond means power of your mind to understand from the day one, unless you are expert, right? So you are not the guru of the gurukul. You are not the teacher, right? But you are only the shaper. If you have that particular ideology, I think you will be successful as a parent, right? And means if you want to do some coaching to the parent, you are most welcome. But do you know the primary objective of putting this particular chapter in this particular program is not that. Means I know that is most of you are not going to become child and adolescent coaches or the parenting coaches, but I want you to flourish in your personal life. I want all of you. Do you know why? Because only a happy person can create happiness.